Hey everybody, Courtney here with Smitty's Fly Box. Excited to do this August intermediate fly that we did in the box this month. It is our parachute ant pattern. So we get a couple different color combinations to do in your box, black, rust, and a purple dubbing, just to kind of add something a little different in the box there. But this is a fun one to tie, super effective to fish right now. There's ants all over the place up in the mountains. You see them walking around, big black ones and ones with little red bodies as well. So let's go ahead and get started. We have our Orientsun dry fly hook in the vise. The first thing we're going to do is start our thread right here at about that quarter point, where we're going to start and tie in our post. So I like to tie in the post first whenever I do parachute flies, just a little easier to get it out of the way, rather than having to do it when you tied in all your materials in the back. And you kind of gauge yourself, gives you a stopping point and where to add your dubbing and everything. So what I've done here is I've taken a piece of my polypropylene yarn here, and I've taken out a strand of it, and then I've gone ahead and cut that strand in half. So I split it again, cut it down. I don't need a full strand, a little too thick. And all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to take that strand, bring it up and underneath the hook, pull up tight, and just hold that there with my left hand, and I'm going to come up and under and just do some figure 8 wraps. So I'm just going to bring that around the back side, down the front, come back around. Again, you're just doing some figure 8 wraps that are just locking this piece of yarn down is all we're doing. Okay, so once that's tied in, you used to see that, so it's just tied in on both sides. Now I can start to wrap up the hook shank and actually create the post. So I'm just going to start my thread at the base of that post and just walk that thread upward and just do one wrap right on top of the next or the last and bring that up. You don't want to make this post too tall. You'll end up rotating the fly in the water when you cast. So I just kind of match the distance my post is from the eye of the hook, and that's kind of the measurement that I'm aiming for here. So nothing too tall, and we'll leave the post alone for now. I'll cut it to the height that I want. So we'll wrap our thread back now and start to build the body of this fly. And like I said, you got 3 different dubbing choices to use in the box. I'm just going to start with black and then finish with brown up here at the thorax. And so what we're doing here is this nice dry fly dubbing that we have is we want to roll that on really tight. We're going to create a nice little ball of dubbing for each little section here. We're just going to tie in 2 sections on this shorter hook here. And I want to just have a really distinct ball at the back of the fly. So I'm going to start that. I'm going to kind of go down into the bend just slightly and then work my way up. And I'm actually going to leave a dead space between my back bump, my back little ball here, and the front ball. So I've created a little ball there. I'm going to bring my thread forward. I try just to cover up the entire hook shank here. Okay, and now I've brought my thread here just to the base. I'm going to bring my thread right in front of the post. I've gone ahead and I've taken a brown piece of dry fly hackle here. You also got a black hackle as well you can choose from. I'm going to strip off a good section of barbs there off of my hackle. I'm going to lay that bare stem down right against the hook shank and just tie that down right here in front of my post. I'm going to hold that post up, and now I'm going to start to wrap up the hook shank. So I'm grabbing that post, just the bare post. That way you don't get any of the hackle barbs trapped in your post. I'm going to come back down, and I'm going to leave my thread hanging at the back of that post there. And go ahead and trim out this excess. And I'll leave my thread just hanging there for a minute. Okay, then I'm going to go with brown for my secondary color here. Saw a lot of these little guys on our little trek we made just this week, earlier here the month of August, if you're watching this later. But we did a nice little hike into some backcountry, and there's lots of these little ants, black and brown, and they were everywhere. So it's a good little pattern to have if you're taking a backpacking trip anywhere too. So I'm gonna roll that on nice and tight. And again, I'm gonna make a distinct ball here just like I did at the back. So I'm gonna do a cross up in the front and then around the back. And I'm just gonna make that nice little ball. I'm gonna come all the way to the eye of the hook though. So this little front section might be just slightly bigger, which is fine. I just like to have those two distinct bodies there. And the color contrast, I think, really helps add to this fly's appeal. Oops. Okay, and then one thing you want to do with this is just always check, because a lot of times you get a bare spot right here on the back side of the fly. So I'm just going to add a little bit here just to cover that up, which is always common. Just the way that that's wrapped, it just misses that one spot. So I'm just going to add just a little pinch here and fill that in. So I'm going to come around from the back side and go around the front, just to make sure I got that dead spot filled in. Okay, and then we're ready. I'm going to bring my thread right around my post from the back and let it hang just right there at the back of the fly there. Okay, so next I'm going to turn my hook in the vise so it's facing down, so the hook point's actually pointing right towards my desk. And I'm going to bring my thread up just a titch more so I have a bit of a post here to wrap my hackle on. And then I'm going to walk that back down so it's sitting right on top of the dubbing. I'm not going back around the dubbing at all. So now I'm going to take my hackle and I'm just going to start to turn that hackle around the hook shank, or around the post. Make sure it gets right around your thread to start. And I'm going to do one wrap right under the last wrap. It's just a little easier to have the hook oriented this way in the vise, so you're not having to sit there and work. You can just kind of work up and down rather than across. So once I have that hackle set like I like it, just right there, I'm going to bring my thread up. I want to make sure I don't come at an angle so I don't trap any barbs. I'm going to just kind of do this straight. I'm going to pull that hackle kind of down, bring my thread, just kind of weasel that through. So I'm trying not to trap any of those barbs. Come in with my scissors and get as close as I can and trim that out. Okay, and then we can whip finish right here too, which is the nice thing. So I can just pull down on that, on my bobbin, and then whip finish. And again, I just want to make sure I whip finish. I'm trying to just go right under all those hackle barbs. And then pull that in. Kind of come in at an angle underneath the hackle, slip that out. And then we'll go ahead and cut out our thread. And there you have it. There is your little parachute ant. Easy way to tie that hackle in. Super effective fly. Let us know how you do with it. Type a bunch and fill up a box and give a few to a buddy. Anyways, hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook for more information about our boxes. And enjoy.